Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the last round of the K1 SPEED Canton Boost League. Tonight is the competition elimination for the final points. We've been following all through the summer. This is the last race of the season, and tonight we have an interesting matchup. Jason?
Yeah, it's a King of Speed boost format. So we'll have all 14 drivers on track for the first elimination. Everybody will run 4 laps, so half of a normal race, and then they'll stop and they're racing a randomized partner, and they'll swap that partner for their kart and run 4 more laps. And basically it gives you the King of Speed, so you're racing each other in your own karts. So kart for kart, speed for speed, we'll find out who's the fastest and break it down that way.
And as carts roll out, first we're going to be looking at a timed race, right? So this is all going to be a matter of who can set the fastest lap time.
Correct, yeah. So they already have an assigned partner, and they'll run 4 laps, and then they will switch with their partner and
So
run 4 more.
this is really fast then.
Correct.
So only 4 laps. Usually at the outdoor track you get a total of 8, but because we're going to swap carts, we're going to cut it in half, right?
Yes, yep.
Okay. We find yourself on board with Chris Kuhn. He's the 22 driver. We've got a couple of onboards for you. I believe this is Tristan. No?
Yep. So
Tristan was giving us another helmet. Well, no, this is not him because this is a.
23.
This is cart 13, isn't it?
That's Noah Keller.
Oh, with the LS helmet.
Yep.
Okay.
With the feather on it there. Do you have the bracket? You can see who they're racing against with their times. So first time's coming up. Their outlet, Chris Kuhn with a 30. Ooh, Rachel with a 38.6. Chris with a 39.3.
Yeah, this is the bracket elimination we're looking at tonight. So we've got, we've paired off the drivers into 2 and 2, right?
Correct. Yep. And then since there's so many, we did a bye. So David Ponce and Savannah Weber are into the second round, and they'll be racing the finalists from the round 1 on the Game 8.
So basically, if you're looking at this, if you are Stitch, you are Marshall, you're going to be up against Dustin, right? And then Sonic is head-to-head with Brian, and Mason is up-to-head with Willis. Sorry.
Correct. So yeah, looking at the times right now, like with Rachel at a 38.6 up against Brian. Brian is at a 40.2.
So who's that racing against David Pons? Is he just automatically moved to the next round?
Nope, they put him in there, so that bye is incorrect. So Ponce is racing Savannah Weber. So the 2 that were in the bye, they just combined them all.
So why do they have him on track then?
They put everybody together in the first round instead of the bye, so there's no bye. It's Ponce and Savannah are racing together.
Okay.
So they'll update that bracket, I'm assuming, when this race finishes up.
Checkered flag is out already. That's a very quick session. So sometimes when you're looking at 1 lap just to warm up tires, you're only looking at 3 laps to set your fastest lap.
Yeah, so everybody will line up after the start-finish line here, and they will swap karts with their partner. And so it is a boost race still, so they do have 50 boosts per race, and there's a few new guys in here too, which is really awesome, and they're trying it out. First boost league they're doing is a King of Speed format, so it'll be a lot of fun for them. So everybody will swap karts here, with their partner, and then go again for another 4 laps.
Kind of a little organized chaos.
Yeah, yeah. You go through.
Not often you get to stop on the turn 2 and get out of your car and
Yeah.
go to a different one.
You just got to remember who your partner is. We went over it a couple times before the race to make sure everybody knew.
Good. Well, I'm glad they know what they're doing, because I'm not sure which car's who's supposed to be in what, but
Yep.
well, we got one lost child there at the top of the screen. Trying to figure out what I think you're supposed to get in the car that's available.
Yep, so minor confusion on, or did he lose something?
Hopefully it wasn't a phone.
Remember, take everything out of your pockets when you're racing.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, booster seat. Oh, he's switching with Mason. So
Oh.
Mason went further around the track, so they just had to swap there.
Okay, so
Any of the other,
what's up?
any of the other cameras, do they just automatically repopulate?
These two?
Mm-hmm.
Have to see if they're online. So our first on board is going to be number 22.
That's with Noah Keller again, the helmet.
Give everybody an opportunity to space themselves out.
Yeah, a lot of times in Boost we're a very position-based oriented league. King of Speed gives everybody a chance to race head-to-head time-wise, and then the final race is a position race. So slip slide.
And this will start the beginning of their time lap. Corey Salerno in front of you in the number 26. Now you're just looking for fastest time, so these cars that are bunched up together is a little bit of a surprise. They didn't choose to space themselves out. Not much use in being so close to somebody. You're not really going to get a draft
Yeah.
at this speed, but
We talked about that before the race a little bit.
I guess if they want to go for it,
Yeah, I mean, well, some of them. So I guess in some sense, for maybe the newer guys, it's okay because you get to follow someone's line that's a little faster.
That's
but
very
then you
true.
run into this where
For sure.
You're bumping into Corey there in the 26 cart, and who was that who just dropped out?
I believe
Noah
it-
just got out of the way, so he's giving himself
I
a
believe
little
that was
space.
Willis in the 25. Lots of cars lined up, nose to
Is-
tail.
So Chris Kuhn is, yeah, he's right behind. So we're on board with Chris Kuhn right now, and he's just going line for line with Corey right there. So I know what that is.
I guess, yeah, that would work. That would work.
Yeah, it's
Corey's
a
not a bad person to follow by any means.
good, no. And if you pair up, nice with someone like that, then you've got, Rachel outside there that she's just kind of cruising on her own. But
David Pons popping up to the number 1 spot. 39.1. That is a great time for outdoor. No one's really, well, of course we are running boost tonight, but he's looking on the inside of Corey. Not giving him an opportunity to do a clean track on a qualifier. You're only going to have one flying lap at the end.
Yep, Chris Kuhn's going for it.
We'll follow behind both of those guys as the white flag jumps out. Apologies, the scoreboard keeps going away on me. Mason Tucker jumps up to the number 4 spot for 39.48. Most of the guys behind him hovering in those 39.8, 39.9. Noah Keller in the first one, who's hitting the 42nd lap time. And sometimes you have to remind the drivers that the boost button is available, because Noah's not one guy that necessarily drives the boost all the time.
Yep.
But also getting adjusted to it is difficult too. So he's only had it for a few laps here, and
Yeah, very much. I told Willis and Thomas are the guys that have never done boost before, and they were excited to do it. And I gave them the same caution: try it on the straightaways. But you know as well as I do, once you start into it and you start playing with it, it's a different drive. But if you know you change your braking area and how you drive the kart, it really speeds things up.
Yeah, it'd be kind of like hitting a nitrous boost right before a corner. It would be not something you'd want to do on a regular track.
Yeah.
Rachel Hart, the number one position, a 38.7. Almost exactly 2/10 to Marshall Miller in the 19 machine, followed by Savannah Weber. I tell you what, Jason, we were talking about this the other day with our other leagues and stuff. It is impressive what the girls at K1 Speed are doing here in the Canton track. I mean, we only have a certain number of them, a few of them running, but they are dominating our series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you just look at the times on the board, you have Rachel at a 38.7, Savannah at a 39 flat, 39.019. So, and we've noticed this over the years that, girls drive very methodically. They are very, very, very good drivers, especially in racing and that. And go-karts is awesome, especially these leagues that we run, that it really levels the playing field. It doesn't matter what color you are, if you're guy, girl, it doesn't matter. It's just the amount of feeling the kart and getting used to it. So yeah, Rachel's been a force to be reckoned with a lot. And then Savannah, isn't she first in the teen league?
She is. She's leading the teen league, and we just finished up the endurance league this Sunday with Katie Wise wrapping up the championship there.
Yep.
One of Katie's key elements to the entire series was that she showed up every week, and she always finished.
Yep.
And so the endurance series sometimes focused on battery life and making sure you made it to the end. She did a great job of managing battery life, but also just very consistent driver and battling it out with you nonetheless.
Katie is my favorite person to race with. She is very difficult to pass, and she's very consistent. So she's not the fastest person on track, but she holds her own in being very consistent with how she runs. So getting by her, though, she is extremely competitive, and she will not just give you a position. She is my favorite person to race with here, bar none. I know a lot of people like watching us race.
It doesn't seem to matter where you guys qualify. You always end up racing each other.
We do. And it's been, she's dropped to 5th, and I've qualified 2nd, and she catches me or I catch her. And once we find each other, it's a blast. I think we almost do it to ourselves, where the race is going on, but it's honestly a race. We're more disappointed when we don't catch each other in a race than when we do. So, and it's usually battling for the 3rd, 4th position. So 2nd, I know she finished 1st in that. But
okay, it's a little optimistic. Usually, battling for 5th,
6th, somewhere in there. But sometimes people die. I mean, there has been those races where we're on the podium, and is it her dad, PJ?
PJ, yep.
Yeah, so PJ's ahead of us or behind us, and they kind of work together sometimes, and it's always cool. The endurance is a ton of fun because, like I said, Katie is not by time the fastest person out here, but she got 1st in the endurance series. You just have to be consistent and have fun with it, and that's the best part about some of these leagues.
For sure, yeah, no doubt. And like we said, one of the key things was she just showed up every week.
Yeah.
And she got points every time, and ended up with the championship. Only beating out her dad by a few points. I believe 4 points was the separation, 1st and 2nd with the endurance race.
Yeah, I know the last race we were in, her and I battling it out was for that extra point, or for the extra points she needed to hold her dad back. So that was a fun race.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're ready to start into our 2nd qualifying.
Yep, so the A main 8 will race against each other, and then the B main 8 will race against
each other.
Yeah, we'll race against each other.
Sounds like a basketball tournament.
Kinda.
So we're on board number 20, which is Mason Tucker. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't know what the bracket was. Here's my cheat sheet. There we go.
Right behind the number 8 machine of Rachel Hart. Marshall and David right up in front of us. Rachel goes way wide, warming up her tires. She's probably gonna just give it a second. Yeah, she is, because we're gonna pass her again. The lights are on. The sun is down. Track's gonna cool off just a little bit, and everybody's gonna be looking for some track space as we.
Test 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
There you go. There, that's better.
All right. I'll just talk louder.
On board with Marshall Miller.
First time lapse will be coming in here.
This is not staying on. Everybody just kept bumping up into number 2, and Marshall held his number 1 spot, but everybody else fell bound behind. Looks like Corey's going to hold the 2nd position on the first lap. 28.9. Phenomenal time.
38.9.
38.9,
Yep.
sorry.
Well, they're all really close times too.
Extremely close. Only Kyle and Mason, but we'll see what they can do on the 2nd lap, 3rd lap.
Yeah, they were probably spacing themselves out a little bit.
David Pons falling back to the number 6 spot, 39.6.
Yeah, Mason just put up a 39.
Good improvement, but he'll only jump up 1 spot. Pretty much you're watching the leader of a lot of different timed races. Marshall Miller right here, one of our fastest league guys, running the night.
Yeah, he's improved quite a bit from when he first started coming last year.
And already down to white flag. This is a very short qualifying session with only 4 laps. We've split a normal race into half.
Savannah jumped up there, 39
Savannah,
flat.
Flat. Very nice job. Corey only a 10th off. Rachel Hart jumping up to the number 2. Let's see what Marshall can do on this last exhibition of only a 4-lap shootout. Yeah, if you were joining earlier, we know that they're going to swap karts as soon as they get past the start-finish line. This is a King of Speed format, so basically you get to drive the same kart as your competitor.
Oh, there's a train of them up there, just following each other.
Marshall does not improve, still holds at 39.4. Rachel as well. Holding the number 2 spot, Savannah. Going to be the 3rd as everybody comes to a screeching halt around turn number 2. Jumps out of their cars. Looks like we're now going to be on the machine of David Pons, the number 13 machine. And then Marshall's going to get to drive the kart that David was just driving as well.
Yep, 4 laps in your kart, swap it with your competitor's kart, and go 4 more.
Marshall's time on that very first session was 38.9, 38.7, 38.9, 38.4.
Just minor adjustments he makes while driving. And everybody's off.
Now the one benefit you've got here is that your competitor has already warmed up your tires for you, so
Yep.
you're going to get a warm set of rubber right out of the gate here. I heard that they're running a new timing loop this week here at K1 SPEED Canton.
Yeah, I heard something about a new system that was installed.
Yeah, upgrading from the DeHart system, upgrade to the MyLap system.
How's everything been going with
trying
that?
to get rid of some of the errors that we've been getting on some of these lap or position-based races where cars would just drop laps.
So far, so good?
100% so far.
Good.
Everything's been running very well with the new MyLap system.
Good.
We're hoping that being with the industry standard is going to help out a little bit. We'll find out tonight. We're going to run some position races after we do some qualifiers.
Yep.
We'll run multiple cars across the timing line all together, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we got a little train of them going now. That's a fast train right there. So we got Corey, Marshall, and we're on board with
Kyle Weber.
Kyle Weber, yeah. Kyle's going to be glued to Marshall's bumper here.
Kyle Weber holding the number 7 spot with a 39.4. So competitive tonight.
Yeah, the spreadsheet for the first race was incredibly close. I mean, all the karts are so similar here. It's a huge accomplishment for a facility that does arrive and drive racing with as many public races as come through, that we're able to do highly competitive events like this. I mean, I've been to other centers where you'd never be able to run something like this because the karts are so different, but...
Now going up on the inside of Marshall on the very last lap. That's a surprise. I did see Marshall dragging the brake as we went into the outside, and I wondered if that was on purpose or whether he was just trying to get space from Corey in front of him.
I kept seeing Marshall's bumper come up the inside, though.
Yeah. But Kyle does improve. He jumps up with a 39.2.
Rachel at 38.6.
Marshall Miller is, he needs to beat the previous time of the 15, so that was run by David Pons. David Pons' best time on that kart number 15 was a 39.4.
Marshall's at a 39.3, so he's got him so far.
So he has improved on that kart time.
What did David Pons do? What did Marshall do in kart 13 this time?
Marshall's a 38.4.
38.6. So Marshall's got him, looks like.
A couple tenths on him.
I mean, look at those times. It's a very, very close race.
Incredible. So looking at Rachel, who's on the number 20 machine, that last person that drove that one was Mason Tucker. His best time was a 39.6.
She's got him by about a second.
It was a 6.34, and Rachel did a 6.02. So very slight edge over that same kart with the same driver driving both machines.
Everybody's excited down there, I can hear it.
We're going to park these cars, and then we're going to get everybody into their B main. Hopefully those guys are ready to roll quickly. You can hear Kyle's comment down into 38s, that's for sure. We're looking to see if we've got the spreadsheet for the times.
That one.
Oh, it's in this spreadsheet?
Yep, and then it's the tab at the bottom, bracket line.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know. I think you just beat me.
Yeah, so this was round one with all 14, and David Ponce and Savannah Weber down at the bottom. It was their bye, so they put them in that race basically as a race. They were racing in the second race, but because they were an odd number in the spreadsheet, they just let them run that race. So the first times for them, even though they're very close, they did not count towards the actual points. But if you look at some of the other times here, it was really close.
Yeah, look at when the driver swaps cars, how similar they are.
Tristan and Corey.
Corey doing an almost identical time in the same machine.
Yep.
Or I'm sorry, different cars.
And those two are in it for the points right now. So Tristan can't lose. So he's got to win the B main to keep his third place, I think he's in.
Yeah, Tristan in third place with 97 points.
Yep.
Corey and Rachel just separated by 4 points leading into this event tonight. How are the points going to be scored tonight? How are they going to determine?
So out of the final position-based race, so you're doing King of Speed all the way through, you get your points. I believe that there is a point spread for each race you win, and then the final position-based race is total points subtracted by 1.
So with 14 drivers tonight, does that mean 14 for the final?
I believe so, yes. Plus a point for each bracket one, I believe. A point or two. I don't remember what her setup was. It might be on there. David Ponce and
So start from the second car.
Marshall Miller, their Stitch. They were really close. Savannah and Corey, that's a good race. 39.15 as an average and 39.03. Wow. And even Chris and Kyle, 39.4 and 39.5. I know Chris and Kyle have always had their rivalry between each other, so it was cool when they got the random draw together.
Yeah, for sure. So this was done based on random draw today?
Correct.
Oh,
yep.
Nice.
Yeah, so that B main, I know a few of the drivers that missed out on their first race there. That B main is going to be very competitive as well, because that's basically your last chance to get into the final race. 39.35 and a 39.42. That is a very close race. I mean, that's an average between two different karts. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, with what, 7 thousandths separating the two, with completely different driving styles, probably even different shoes.
If you're watching this from another location and you're looking at these times, these are the karts we pull random for arrive and drive. And I mean, we have some very good racers out here, and to be this close with karts, I mean, I can't say it enough how great this facility is with the just the care for the karts to keep them competitive like this is no small feat. So it's awesome for serious drivers and arrive and drive drivers alike. It's a lot of fun to be able to compete like this.
Yeah, we're definitely not pulling from the quote-unquote good row.
No, this is all randomized.
And we're back to rolling. After a long delay of choosing the brackets, we've got the losers round 2, which is going to be in the same format as all of our other elimination rounds. It's all going to be based on time. It's going to be a 4-lap race, and it's going to be swap karts in the middle. And when I say the middle, basically the middle of an 8-lap race. So we're going to get 4 swap karts and then another 4. You ride on board with Mr. Mason Tucker, who's in the car number 4. Outdoor track open tonight. Lights are on. Sun is set. It's a beautiful evening here in Canton, Ohio. The track extends not only to the outside, but also into the beautiful, cool breeze of almost fall. We don't really like to think of it as fall, but it does feel like it out there. All right, flying laps. We'll begin to count. Yeah, we're on board with Mason.
David with 39.6. Oh, Mason with 39.6.
And Tristan going to be the last one across the timing line, as he jumps up into the 5th position. Mason giving some heat to the 25 of Brian Hupp as he squeezes him going through the carousel. This is only qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. But you don't want to give up a flying lap when there's only 4 laps to do.
This is Noah Keller again.
Yeah, on board with number 35.
Following Savannah, it's a pretty good marker for a line.
It is. He kind of washes way out wide on the carousel. That's probably one of the reasons he's losing some time on his laps. He's still scored in the 40-second range. Most people getting into the 39s as Mr. Weber comes through turn number 4 on the outside. I thought he was going to give him a little bump in the left-hand side there.
A little extra boost.
Yeah. And we'll see what Kyle can do as well as Noah as they come across the start-finish line. Checkered flag is flying. Doesn't look like Noah improves.
No real change on that last lap.
We'll have everybody coming to a stop here through. Oh, they're going to space it out a little bit more. Turns 2, 3, and 4. I guess everybody's just going to go to turn 4. Swap your machine, take your booster seat, and go drive your competitor.
Yeah, after this, the top 5 of this will compete against the final 4 in the A main, so it'll be a 9-person position race for the final here after this one.
Let's see if we could take note. See if car number.
That's Ponce we're on board with now. You can always tell by the signature helmet.
Yeah. Yeah, David's telling Noah to stick close to me. It's like you need to learn the line.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
I think we're waiting for the kart swaps in the computer system in order to get the timing and scoring running. So we'll have David Pons on board. We'll also have Tristan on board. Tristan kind of lagging behind here. He was the last one to go across the finish line first heat.
Yep.
So looks like he's waiting for speed. There we go.
Don't know if that was him creating a gap or waiting on speed.
It looked like he was waiting on speed. He had a speed 2 indicator, I believe. A huge cluster of cars.
Got a pile of
car sideways. That's going to cause everyone to lose their
flying
their
lap,
first
basically.
lap.
Yeah.
Lap 1 of 4 is going to be out the window. Looks like David will be the first one across. See what he can do with the boost button. Well, that's right. That was a stalled lap, so disregard that. Everybody will probably improve on their second lap. Kyle got a good running start. He was still able to set a 40.4. That's pretty good for being stopped in the middle of the track.
Mm-hmm. Tristan had that nice gap, putting up a 39, so he was the lucky one out of that.
As we take a high level of look of the outdoor track tonight, looking great under the lights. You can see a lot of different lines that drivers will take through here. Obviously, besides getting pushed wide, but some drivers like Tristan here are going to stay outside. They're going to hug that right hand and then the left-hander, and some other drivers are going to try to dive it deep and then try to cut back. It seems, though, if you watch some of the faster times, that the better route to go is probably to enter mid-track, hug the right, make sure you're nice and tight coming out of the left-hander. That seems to save you the most amount of track space.
Yeah, we've tried all different kinds of lines out there, and I think you're right about that. It's playing with the throttle a little bit too on that, where you try not to break traction and just keep your acceleration good throughout the apex out there, and it brings you right back into the left when you exit.
Especially this exit here when you're making the left-hand corner, a lot of drivers go into the outside, just adding too much track space. On such a small track like this, you definitely want to save every foot you can. It's not necessarily that the momentum is going to help you, it's just that you need to shorten the track as much as possible. Tristan with a fantastic lap though, 38.9.
Yeah, he needs
Probably
it too.
Probably the most beneficial excuse for getting that big gap. He didn't have any traffic to worry about. There was nobody in front of him.
Yeah, he needs to win this one too, because he needs to stay in third place with all the points he can get.
And David Pons put down a faster lap of a 38.7. Right on board with him. This will be his last lap, I believe. Nope, that'll be the checkered flag, and he'll come to a stop at the back of the pits. And Tristan, at the very last moment,
Wow.
38.6. David celebrating as we go on board back with Tristan. What a clean lap. What an amazing shot. Tristan, the third fastest, I'm sorry, the third driver in the third position of our point standings right now, battling it out tonight with Rachel and Corey. He's not going to end the season without a fight.
That's for sure. That was a last lap burner. That was really good.
What a time, what a time.
Don't hit me too hard. Take that, Carl. Take that, Carl. This thing is on steroids.
What was the machine that he was driving? Tristan in the cart number 4. Mason had that cart earlier. He did a 38.9. Also, Brian Hupp had cart number 4, 39.8. So, only about a tenth of a second, a little bit more than a tenth of a second between drivers within the same car. Wow, impressive time for Brian. Even though in that heat, you know, he placed 10th in car number 4 with a 39.8, and that was good enough for 10th place in that heat. But then we fast forward over here to Tristan, and that was fastest for this particular heat with a 38.6.
So it'll be a position race. It'll be Marshall, Rachel, Corey, Chris, Kyle, Savannah, Tristan,
Last but not least,
David Ponce.
drum roll please.
Yeah, I think so.
Rachel's down there crunching the numbers.
I know. She's got her helmet on ready to go while she does it.
We're missing one of our regulars tonight. Shout out to Armand,
The bald guy,
the
quote
bald guy,
unquote.
who's normally with us on Boost League night, but was not able to make it tonight. It will not affect the top 3 in the standings. I believe he missed one of the other events. Go back to the full league. Yeah, Armand's sitting at 81 points on the season. 16-point difference before tonight between him and Tristan.
Yeah, I think Corey and Rachel were talking about it, and if Corey needs to finish ahead of Rachel no matter what to stay in first. And right now in the points, in the final is the typical Boost League finish for points. So 25 points for first.
Oh, so they will be
22.
using this graduation of points tonight.
Correct, for
Okay.
the final, yes.
Gotcha.
So I stand corrected on the original thought process of it. But yeah, so we're using the Boost League point system, so 25, 22, 20, 18, and so on and so forth all the way down. So out of 9 people, you have a maximum of 12 points. You can get in 9th place and a minimum of 12 points and a maximum of 25. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think as it stands right now on the bracket side of life, I think Rachel is in a better position than Corey right now for the final.
It's Tristan right in front of us as he anxiously awaits his car placement.
David and Marshall.
He says, "You know what must be done." I think they're discussing a little bit of a strategy for the points.
Who has to finish in front of who, and
Right, yeah, and who needs to hold somebody back.
Yep. Looking at cart numbers and how many laps?
How many laps?
That's what Adam was asking.
Oh. It should be a regular 8-lap race, right?
Marshall's picking his music to go with.
So it looks like we'll have an onboard with Marshall, and we'll also have an onboard with Corey.
And
As he's going to roll out behind Chris.
then Savannah.
Savannah rolling out behind Kyle, right? Or Savannah, kind of a high shot tonight.
Yep. Not much of her driving, just what's going on around her.
You get an aerial view tonight. I think between Corey and Marshall is where we're going to have some of our best shots here.
Yeah, and I mean, Savannah has a way of working her way up in some of these position races, but
For sure.
I think Corey is going to really try to get through some people here to beat Rachel in the points. On board with Corey.
We'll go with Corey. He's starting at 4th position. See what we can do.
And green lights, green flag. Let's go. I want to see if he can work his way through Chris and Marshall.
We want to see if Soler knows anybody.
Yeah.
He's got a sight set on Chris Kuhn, no doubt.
And he needs it. I mean, if he stays where he's at right now and Rachel's in first, he will forfeit first place. I wonder if Marshall's going to try to catch up to Rachel or if he's going to try and hold Corey off.
Oh, he'll definitely try to catch up to her. He ain't going to hold back in a final position race.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, you got Chris Kuhn right on his bumper, though, so it's, that's a really tight one there. Got Chris glued to Marshall right there on their way out back. Let's see what happens in the... Oh, yeah, Corey's trying to get up on him. The more they fight back there, though, the more Rachel can pull a lead. She's a very comfortable driver. When she's out front with no one around her, she just gets in a rhythm and she just kind of goes.
Chris is definitely taking a look at Marshall.
Absolutely. I think Corey's waiting for Chris to make a move and then just pounce on both of them.
Or definitely a mistake.
Yeah. That's a good move. When you're racing karts like this, a lot of times you just hang back and just kind of watch the people in front of you and wait for a mistake and capitalize.
Oh, like just like that,
Just
going down
like
the
that.
inside.
Oh, good move.
Chris goes wide, he pushes him, and
was a good
Corey
move.
takes the inside.
Yep.
That's going to push Corey back up to third.
People think bumping and pushing people out of the way is the best way to do it, but if you just take your time like that, an opportunity will present itself. Nobody's 100% consistent.
Chris just didn't have the ideal line, or he skidded a little bit when they were going into that corner, and he's going to be right on the tail of Marshall Miller now, hunting down that number 2 spot.
I saw Marshall kind of cruising with his foot up there a little bit, but now that he knows Corey's behind him, he's got to use both feet.
Marshall, I think, does that for show that he's not intimidated.
Yeah.
But
oh, same move. Exact same move.
thing. Is he going to push him?
Good move. Now he's going to have to hunt down Rachel to keep that first place.
As we look for the gap, Rachel's all the way down in turn 1 already. Pulled out quite a lead as these guys were battling for second, third, and fourth. Oh, we had somebody, we had him spun sideways as Marshall's taking the outside of that one.
Oh.
Marshall's going to let him keep the spot. I saw a little hand gesture, wave.
I wonder if Marshall was getting bumped from the back at all. Same little bumps. He always gives those bumps in the apex like that to
keep
drive
him right
you
on the bumps.
nuts.
And that's why you want to hold that left-hand side as you come back in the doorway there, is because you got to squeeze the person behind you and make sure they don't leave a door open.
You can see the whole train of them there.
Savannah's just watching the whole field down here.
A couple packs of 3.
Go back to the action with Marshall and Corey right up front.
I think
Rachel is long gone.
Yeah.
Not even to be seen in the shot.
Yep.
Long straightaway out here. You keep your foot on the gas all the way down until you hit the brakes, tap them just enough to slow down and get that right-left complex. Timing on that braking point is very critical. You just don't want to lift off the throttle until you get down to the very last second. Oh, there's a little foot lift. He's got a stretch on the front straightaway. You're riding on board with Marshall, who's the guy with the dragon helmet.
Marshall's very good at the 1, 2, 3 turns and then out back. He usually can catch people pretty quick on those turns.
Yeah, I do think that's where he gets most of his pickup time when he's run a position or time races. But Corey maintaining a good consistent gap through here as white flag flies. They did battle it out, but you can definitely tell that Corey had the pace to hold that position, no doubt.
Yeah, you can see Chris was bumping up on Marshall there a little bit, messed him up in the apex. And
check back down here in the field. Pretty much have the rest of them. You've got 6th through 8th as we're riding on board with Savannah.
checkered flag is out.
That's how they'll finish. Rachel Hart taking the #1 spot, followed by Corey Salerno and Marshall Miller in 3rd. Chris Kuhn, who had started in front of these guys, drops back down to 4th. Still having a best lap time of a 39.1 right there with Marshall, so lap time is very close.
Rachel at a 38.2. Just cruising out front.
Just flying.
She's one of those people, you have to put pressure on her early, because if she makes that gap, she really exploits it and just cruises. Very consistent driver.
Drivers on their cool-down lap as they give each other fist bumps. You don't get to do that in all kinds of motorsports. Here in a go-kart, you don't have any doors, so...
Yep.
Most everybody else holding position. Pretty fair fight all the way back through the field. So that'll finish that particular heat and that A main. Now we're going to be going next to the losers bracket, run another position race as well, and that will determine the final, right? And we have some important information. We just ran the points for the final that just completed, and look at that. We have Corey Salerno beating out Rachel Hart by just 1 point.
Yep, that's for the championship. That's why he was trying to get ahead.
1 point. What a difference it made by making that pass with Marshall.
Yeah, the first one passing Chris, same move on Marshall.
Exactly. Yeah, and Corey starting in 4th position just proves that every position counted, and definitely the case for the championship, as he beats her by just 1 single solitaire point. Tristan's going to hold 3rd place. Looks like Kyle will hold 4th. Actually, Kyle's going to be moving up into 4th because Armand was previously in 4th. And then good job with Savannah. So she's going to take home 4th as Chris Kuhn rounds out. Sorry, I'm not counting correctly.
Top
Savannah
5.
is rounding out the top 5. My apologies. Not a bad run for Armand Deligny, though, as he doesn't show up for 2 of the events and still finishes 7th place.
Yeah, on those points, he maximizes points on most of the races he did.
1, 34, 15, 20, and 8.
We are going to run one more race, though, so just to give the guys who came in for the Boost League just an opportunity to run one more fun race. Championship has been decided, points are done, but why not give them an opportunity to race one more time if they're up to it. It's a little past 9 o'clock here on the East Coast, but when you show up to Boost League, we want to give you a full Boost League night worth of entertainment.
Yep, a couple new guys not doing too bad tonight either, and it's definitely one of those series that, you're right, we try to even it up and have a ton of fun, and there's a few guys that jumped in and learned how to do it. Brian's gotten significantly better since he started, and Marshall, I mean, has gotten fantastic just in the past year he's been here. And you know, we try to work with you guys on these series and get you to go faster. We don't want, you know, we want you to go faster. It's a lot more fun when you're racing people that are fast and you know the track. It's a lot more fun. Yeah, we have in what is it, 2 weeks now, or a week and a half, we have our Exhibition of Speed coming up.
Exhibition of Speed, yeah.
So $99, you get a little taste of all the series we run here.
It's going to be a mix of 3 different formats. So there's going to be traditional races, qualifier and final, but we're going to throw in a joker. Then the second race is going to be about running in reverse. So if you've never run the track in reverse, it's a good opportunity to do that. And then the third segment or series is going to be the boost. So if you guys are watching this, then you know what the boost button's all about. And there's an opportunity to people to do that on a Friday night if they can't make it on a Monday, or they don't want to commit to a series and they just want to have a fun Friday night under the lights.
Yep. Yeah, and there's A main prizes and B main prizes. So even if you come out and you're not the fastest person out here, you can compete in a group of people that, you know, are running the same or about the same times and that, so it'll be good. And yeah, it should be a very fun event.
Yeah, so you can check it out on their website. You can sign up there, visit K1SPEEDCanton.com, click on the blog post for the Exhibition of Speed. And like we said, we're going to limit it to 30 spots, so just the first 30 people to sign up are going to be the ones who can take the night. There will be prizes that night too, so keep that in mind. So kind of unusual for this kind of event, but we are proud to offer some financial incentives as well. A main first prize going to take away $500.
$500 first place, yeah.
Not bad for a $100 entry fee,
yeah.
No doubt.
Kyle?
We're going to be on board with Kyle Weber. Looks like they're just going to run a qualifying race. In reverse.
In reverse.
Why not? Now, last week, if you didn't see it, or if you weren't here, because we didn't televise, we ran a wet-dry track on the outdoor, and that was a phenomenal race. So you never know what you're going to get when you show up to Boost League.
Yeah, the open nights are fun.
Yeah, open night can be definitely fun. Try to keep it simple as possible, but try to keep it entertaining as well. We did basically a half and half race, so we ran half of it in forward, half of it reverse, but we also set up some chicanes, so we had cones on the track where you have to avoid. But the biggest trick of the night was right about here, there was some artificial water, not artificial water. We purposely wet down the track. It was not raining. It was kind of funny to see Owen with a hose spraying down the track. But it creates a great challenge as the track goes from a wet to a drying.
Yeah, there's a line that probably forms with a lot of it.
And Armand was here, and he quickly picked up on the fact that if he held the very outside of the corner, that was not as wet. So some of the dry line was actually offline until the other side of the cars picked up a little bit of water and dispersed it and tried to dry it up a little bit. So actually, your normal racing line on the inside of the corner was not the preferred line at all. It was to go around the longest way possible. And it was right about here that you were just spinning your wheels and trying to get traction down and get back on the front straightaway. That's where all the water was standing. So think of the Boost League as our experimental phase league, where we get to try all these new formats and see if they actually work. If they work, they get incorporated into the points races, and if they don't, then they're just
Memories.
Memories. A lot of memories, that's for sure. Well, some stuff that just doesn't work.
Yeah, some people actually prefer or enjoy driving the reverse of this track quite a bit.
Yeah,
it's
I
different
certainly
line.
do.
Yeah.
It seems to be a more natural flow for me. I don't know why, with it being anti-clockwise, you'd think that the clockwise direction would probably be the best route, but
I remember the very first time we did it, that turn Kyle just went through was so intimidating because you're coming out of the back straight into that hairpin, and it's very intimidating. But then after playing with it, there's a few different ways to take it depending on if you're fighting for a position and people go wide and you can go really tight with it. But the first couple of times we were a little timid of it, but that is one of the funnest parts, I think, of going backwards is that turn.
It's also one of the causes of the biggest pileups that we have, because when you have a big starting field and you get, like, watch this. This is all flat out here, so
Yep.
You've got momentum
Plus
on
boost.
top of momentum plus boost all the way to the inside, and then you're going to have a kink. It's not even a full corner. It's just, see how your car gets shot out to the outside of the track? You get 5-10 cars and you kind of quickly have a pile up. And then what happens is they try to go through this 1 and 2, you know, just like we see here with Mason passing his dad. You see another pile up inside 1 and 2 because those corners are so slow and they're so tight that when you have the whole field trying to get through there, just makes for some interesting racing.
It does, and if you're behind the pile up and you're watching it happen, and I've seen it happen a few times where I know Corey, in one of the races I was in with him, there was a pile up coming into this turn here, and he was able to basically get 3 people at once because we all shot to the outside and he was right behind us and was able to keep his momentum to the inside. So it definitely pays to take your time and just kind of pace yourself behind people, watch where their mistakes are at, and take advantage of it.
And it does seem to be one of those corners where you can take 2 different lines and still get a good result out. I've seen guys use brakes going into that corner and try to maximize the exit, and I've seen guys try to slide the car as we're going too wide in the chicane back here. And they've tried to slide the car going through, and it just depends on whether the car hooks up or not, because you can see, watch this, when they turn left, it's a very tight right-hander. The exit's very small. The barrier comes up in the front of the car quickly. And if they scrub the tires, it seems to have almost the same effect as braking.
I've done that when I'm trying to hold people back. I'll take the inside, scrub out the front tires, and let the back end slide a little bit to make the kart have a wider presence on the track, so that you don't give people the option of that inside, but also try to cover the outside. For me, it slows me down doing that, but I get to hold the position, so it's okay with me.
We see Marshall jumped up into the front spot, but where is he not? He's not in the scoring system. That's why we're not seeing his time up there. As
Oh
a
wait, that's Corey.
Oh, it is Corey.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
Corey.
I'm
Yep.
sorry. As checker flag is out, David Pons looks like he's going to be able to hold the top position. As flying laps will count, the rest of the field comes through. Does not look like anybody's going to be improving upon that 38.8 lap time. I think everyone else is going to get an extra drive around this time. Yeah, there we go. Race is officially finished. Everybody across the timing line. And that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching the Summer Boost League series. We'll be announcing the next series from here as far as when you can expect to see us on Monday nights.
Yep,
We
be about a
appreciate
month
follows.
break, and then fall series.
Yeah, exactly. We appreciate you guys following along. Congratulations to Corey Salerno, the winner of the Summer Boost League series. And until next time, you guys have a great night.